All right, so we're not gonna get much done this weekend. Mama's out of town and I got the baby. And a 4-year-old can be pretty demanding, so I went into this weekend knowing that we're not gonna get a lot accomplished at all, and figured I would just tidy up some stuff that I could easily just stop, walk away from if she needs a lot of attention. But we got some time in between. She's inside playing with her sister, and we are changing up our shrinker and stretcher stand. So if you recall, this was our stand that we built. I fought with it a lot in previous videos and never had the legs 100% right down there or whatever. And so I've learned, and you know I'm quick to, whenever we learn something, we stop and we make adjustments and then we move forward. We're moving our shrinker and stretchers to the ends. Now, this thing is freaking perfect. Our other one, the pedals kept bending right here. You can actually even see the metal, how it's bent, because there's just no support at all. The pedals were really long, as you can see right here, how long they were. You can actually see how bent that one is. If we look straight down it, I mean, it's all kinds of jacked up. But they were just always, we were fighting with them. They were all over the place like this. The pivot point was way too far away. So what I have done this time is I'm welding bolts to the end of these pieces. We just took a 5/8 bolt, welded that off, put spacers on. I already had these huge plates that Brandon gave me a while back on the Comet build that we never used. And so I reused my pedal, reused my same exact setup, but added that plate to it. And now we have a pedal with absolutely like no play at all, but that pivots super easy. So I mean, this thing is really solid. But pivots, if we ever have any issues with it, we could brace it back and everything, but we shouldn't have any issues at all. Ran our spring up here, which we've grabbed from Harbor Freight. Previously, we reused our bar, and we made some changes up here. We reused the plate that we had mounted on because the holes were already in there. We just took a triangulated plate and bolted it off the side, switched to some square tubing to get us over here. So this is nice and strong. I mean, I can rock the whole stand thing. There's my wrench. But now we got this thing right here on the end where it's perfect. Now I decided not to weld this to this because you might say, well, how about if you have a tight radius bend, you're going to be straight into your stand. I did think about that. A lot of times you can flip the metal back and forth and around, but we could still get in the way. So I opted to bolt it here through the square tubing. What that allows is, if I just loosen that bolt a little bit, I can turn this thing and index this thing so it's off at a 45 right like this, and then I'll just be pushing my pedal, you know, off at a 45. But the chances of that happening are pretty rare because I don't know if I'll be doing that big of bends. But we are capable of doing it. And then I cut down our old control arms, Mustang 2 control arms left over from the Comet that's been thrown outside since we took them off like a year ago, and put it so that these are threaded in now. So this is not fixed. So when this plate rotates, all right, this heim joint also will rotate in here. And yes, it changes the spread by like a 1/16, but nothing to worry about. So everything will rotate, nothing will bind the pedal up. And you could technically rotate this thing all the way around just about and use this thing completely at a 90 if you needed to. So I think that's gonna be perfect. We're gonna go ahead and duplicate the other side and put the other one on that end. And then we got ourselves one unit. You ever have a weekend, a week, or a month that's just an absolute bust? It's January 19th. With the wife being out of town all weekend, I basically hung out with the girls, which is a good thing because I got to spend some time with them. But I absolutely did not go hard on this thing at all. We fixed our press periodically through the weekend, or our metal brake. We put the shrinker and stretchers on it. Big fan of that now, was able to put the stand outside. And we cleaned up out here, but that's all I've got accomplished. As you can see, we have the hood inside. Now it is Sunday. Wife's still not home, but I decided to step out here for a few. And the other fender, I'm gonna put the other fender on so we can finally measure the freaking overall distance from wheel to wheel. We're pretty sure we know what it is, but I need to double check. And then I really want to fit the hood up because I feel like we can start working the hood and the fenders in the front end together. I feel like we're pretty good on the inside. We've turned a point in this chapter where we have everything rough mocked up. Now we will eventually have to go back and completely basically redo everything. Everything has to come apart and be all welded together. But we don't want to do that until we're done with the chassis, we're done with the four-link and everything, because we want to be able to take the seat pans and the floors out. Also, if we find ourselves in a bad position where we need to get to something or get inside something, there's nothing on the inside of the car that is welded to the car or to the frame that can't be removed. There's a couple pieces welded together, but they will come out as a group so that we can get back to basically everything. We don't want to lock ourselves in. That's the biggest mistake I made on my previous build, and I don't want to make that mistake ever again in my life. So on the hood, I honestly should have worked on this a little before the front end went on. Like I said, the front end is a little challenging to get on and off by yourself. This front end is intended to go on and stay on and never come off unless we have engine failure or engine issues. Even transmission failures, maybe, where we get back there. I have no intent of pulling the front end off, so therefore we're not making it lightweight or nothing like that. But the front end will be able to be off within about 20 minutes flat, which would be way smart if you do have engine failure and you need to get an engine out or something. We are definitely keeping that where you do not have to be leaning over fenders. So I can't really just take it off right now. I wanted to take the springs off. Man, that bolt's not even all the way tight. I wanted to take the springs off the hood hinges, but I never did. Everything is really tight on these hinges. They really need to be taken off and everything cleaned up and lubed up to make new. But I never got there. Now, remember whenever we were working on our hood originally, that there was some issues, I think, under the bottom of this hood. Let's put this up on the table and take a look. That's gross. That's gross. So we got our work cut out. We really need to put this in the bed of the truck and take this to the shop and honestly let this thing soak in degreaser and pressure wash it. But maybe we'll just take a scraper and get this section out here at the house for right now. This hood is in two pieces, which I don't like. It sucks. But that is how they did them. There's a metal trim piece that runs down the center to cover it up. I'm not sure if I want to get rid of that or keep it. This thing is so radically modified that I do want to keep a little bit of the original factor. So that's probably going to be one of the very last choices, is if we keep that. I really don't think it would look bad at all to have that line down the hood. But if you follow along the whole entire time, then you recall we're going to put these nostril looking pieces in out of a Bel Air that we cut a hood up for somewhere. Don't know if they're going to go in the fenders or the hood yet, but that's what we're going to start working towards. So our hood itself is damaged right here. There's actually a fair amount of damage. Well, it's not bad, but the welds have actually broke behind this trim. You can see the repaint. Somebody didn't mask very good. I don't know how you mess up masking that terribly. Wow, look at that right there. God, hope you got fired, dude, because that sucks. You should easily be able to mask freaking chrome. Yeah, they did a terrible job. But we need to fix this. So before we start messing with the hood, this is something that needs to be addressed. All right, again, apologize for no mic. We were doing a lot better on sound quality and professionalism, but switching to the iPhone 16, the little adapter for the mic, being they changed the charging ports, has not come in yet. These are kind of tough to move. They don't really want to move. You can tell that you're kind of binding them up. What it is just the grease over all these years. It's just kind of seized up in there. So a couple squirts of these, wait a couple seconds, and you'll be good to go. Put yourself a rag down if you're ever doing this. Try to keep stuff off of your projects. Don't use WD-40. Please, for the love of God, just take that mess out of your garage if possible, or be very careful with it. I've had it in here a couple times for cutting lube and stuff, but overall WD-40 is going to get you in trouble on the paint side very bad. It has silicone in it, and you don't want that in any of your paint projects. PB Blaster is good, or there is plenty of other alternatives, even some organic stuff that people will probably comment that you can use to lubricate stuff. But just please, for the love of God, stay away from WD-40 if you're going to be painting your project, or if you're going to take it to somebody else. If it's getting paint on it, please stay away from WD-40. So put that on there, put a towel down, keep all the greases and stuff off the body that you can, because you're going to have to paint this, and look at that. It literally just loop. I mean, dude, that's easy now. Look at that. So that's more the reason why that hood is broke, is that people in the past just let this grease get harder and harder and harder, and then the hood was harder to open and close, and people think something's wrong with the hinges, and what it is something's wrong with you, because you're not doing your freaking maintenance, and you're not keeping your joints lubed. All joints, moving joints, has to be lubed on everything. So that is super freaking easy now. Perfect. Well, we built a snowman this morning. It's mostly ice here. It snowed, which is quite a bit for where we're at. Oh, golf cart died on us this morning, but we are going to, I think, try to do a couple things. So it took, about 1 o'clock? Pretty much took all morning to play with Harper. We're very excited about snow. Y'all that get snow all the time, you're lucky. I'm telling you what, if I could live somewhere that snowed all the time, I'd be in freaking heaven. I hate the sun, I hate the heat, and I love being inside my garage and climate control working. So I'd be in heaven. Not sure 100% what I'm going to try to get done today. It's kind of a slow day since it's a snow day. When we get snow, we close completely. I don't work. If there's snow on the ground, even if it's a half an inch, we're done. The snow will probably melt a little bit today, freeze overnight, and because it freezes overnight, not working Thursday, will be closed. Friday, we only work till 11 a.m., so I'll probably just go ahead and throw Friday out the window too. It might have a 5-day weekend. We'll see how it pans out. If it melts off really fast and the roads are 100% clear, we might work Friday. Doubt working Thursday. So let's see if we can get in the flow of this. I'm scared that as soon as I get flowing, Harper's going to come through that door and want to go back outside and play in the snow. And I believe in now firmly that it's more important to make memories with your kids than it is to work on these stupid hot rods. Because at the end of the day, I'd crush this thing in a crusher in a heartbeat because it don't mean nothing to me. Let's see what we can get done. All right, so we welded up this side and underneath, but we definitely have fitment issues. This side had been tweaked from over the years. I put the metal back exactly like it was, but we've definitely got a lot of alignment stuff to do. So it looks like this fender actually is going to need to go up some. This hood's going to need to go up. I'm betting that's in the hinge, where the hinge is bolted to the body of the car. The hinge needs to come up. I need to relieve the springs, take them off to get that on. But man, dude, we are going to have some freaking fit up stuff to work out. That's for freaking sure. Because these cars back in the day, they just weren't meant like they are now. Even this right here, look how bad that is. That is terrible. And the bad thing about this hood, the way these are, is that this hood overlaps your hinge. It comes up beautifully now that we've lubed it up. So the hood is on the bottom side of the hinge, if you can see that, all right? So the hinge is actually on the top side of the hood. Terrible, terrible design, absolutely horrible, because you can't shim the hood. And it looks like we can't move no, I guess we can move the brackets out right there and right back there. So that's what's gonna need to happen, is the whole bracket's gonna need to go up. Also, this is as high as you can open this hood, which is also horrible, absolutely terrible. So I don't like that. That's terrible, man. So I'm thinking, you could tell over the years, even before me, where it had been hitting back here. We don't want to tear the paint up. So I'm thinking that we come in here and curve this firewall in, or go down with this firewall or something, so that this hood can open higher. Basically, we'll have to somehow, man, I don't want to do that. Actually, you know what? We might be able to just cut that piece off and flip them upside down. Man, I don't want to cut that though. But something's gonna have to happen because that's not acceptable at all. Yeah, that's it. It's interesting. I'm glad I put this hood on because it shows me the new issues that we're gonna be facing. And you know, really, we don't even need this front end on to mock up this hood with the hinges. Like, we can literally just get it where it fits the top of the cowl, and then we'd be good. We could fit the front end later to it. So honestly, well, then we couldn't set the height on the front though without this front end on. Man, hood's gonna take some freaking work.